Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Hump Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. We got lots of great stuff to get to today. I got some intel on Tom Brady. You know, we're putting it together, the little pieces. Where is he going? What's he doing? What's happening in his life? So I have my Davis Island minions have been hard at work the past 24 hours to get me some intel, and I'll be bringing that to you here in just a moment. Some of you might be pissed off about it. You might be, but that's coming. Brian Bradley's going to join us at 11 o'clock. He just texted me back to make sure he's going to be okay to join us. Boy, that was fun last night at the Lightning game. That was really, really an entertaining game. So much happened last night. Yes, he will join us at 11. And JC Allen from Pewter Report will join us at 10:30. So we'll get his take on Tom Brady. We'll talk a little draft. I think we're ready to do that, right? Are we ready to talk a little NFL draft with the Buccaneers?
You know, it's
Nick
kind of
Geddes,
been.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody watching. It's a great day here in Tampa Bay as usual.
It is indeed.
Of course, we got to talk about draft. I mean, for the first time in 3 years, the season has ended, and we're immediately looking towards the draft, and the most important draft the Bucs have had in 3 years as well.
Boy, that's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. And I haven't done a whole lot of work on this draft. I know JC Allen does a lot of work on drafting, so we'll chat with him and talk. We certainly know what the Bucs' needs are, and they are aplenty. There's no if I think about it right off the top of my head, you could go in so many directions, but just, boy, to me, watching the NFL this year again, not that this is any revelation, but boy, do we need a pass rusher. We need an edge rusher like nobody's business. They are, the teams that can put pressure on the passer. You look at the teams, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the 49ers, these teams, they attack the passer. And the Bucs did not do a great job of that this year.
No, they did not. But I'll tell you another position that I think might be need number one should Levante David leave, and that's his replacement.
Inside linebacker.
Because you cannot get attacked through the middle of the field in 2023. Teams will kill you. And the bad thing is this is not a great linebacker class. I can tell you that. I already know that just from my initial looking at this class. No. It's not great.
Yeah.
So you might be a situation where hopefully you can get Levante on a 1-year deal and push it down the line, but that will become need number one in my opinion if he leaves.
It's an under. You talk about the key positions on the field, and the thing is, if you don't have a good one, we used to call it a middle linebacker, but a Mike linebacker, those inside backers are so important now because that's where teams attack. Like you say, the middle of the field is so much open now, and they have to be able to cover running backs and tight ends and be able to support the run. It's a tough position to find, and few have done it better than Levante David. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I don't think he's going to make it because he doesn't have enough Pro Bowls.
Well,
he doesn't have enough. Yeah,
based on some other Hall of Fames that I saw recently. I don't think you have to have any accomplishments to get in. Apparently.
As you called it yesterday, the Hall of the Very Good. Scott Rowland gets.
We're going to have to table that discussion for later because I have some thoughts. But.
Yes, we will get into that. Are you kidding me? Scott Rowland? Fred McGriff's got to be going, what the hell? I waited 12 years and now this guy gets in. I'm going in with Scott Rowland. Well, at least you'll be the star, Fred. You'll be the only one anybody knows. So think about it. Anybody's ever heard of. So you're good to go. All right, let's get to the Brady news. And part of this is tongue-in-cheek because I did not witness this with my own eyes. I've got 4 different people that have told me the same thing. They live on Davis Island. 2 of them live on Riviera, where Tom Brady has lived, 888 Riviera. We can get out the address now because he doesn't live there anymore. He's gone. He's moved out. And I had 2 people tell me that the moving trucks were there the Friday night before the Monday night game. Now, that may piss some people off. It might not. Logistically, who really cares when, if you're moving someplace else, maybe it was a good time to get everything set up. Who knows? He was in Miami yesterday touring a school. We saw some video of that. to me, that's no big deal. We knew his kids were in Miami. They were going to go to school in Miami, but he was seen there. So that's, another piece of the puzzle, right? So is he already living in Miami? Well, according to my sources there on Davis Island and the DI coffee girls, DI coffee shop ladies, do not mess around, folks. He has moved out of 888 Riviera. So he's no longer living in Tampa Bay. I think that's a pretty good sign that he's not sticking around. Because if you were planning on sticking around, I don't know why you would pull up stakes. So, and the fact that maybe they were there the Friday night before the game, whatever. You're going to stay in a hotel. I'm pretty sure they still do that, right? They still go to a hotel the night before with the team. Or he was staying in his house and maybe he's just getting an early start. Who knows? I don't think it's that big a deal. But the fact is that he has moved out of the rental place at 888 Riviera, according to 2 real estate people and 2 neighbors in the Davis Island area, a couple of them that live on Riviera. So if Tom Brady's not living here anymore and he gave let's put the crumbs down again, right? So he's not living here anymore. He's pulled up stakes. He's, gave the farewell address at the podium. Certainly didn't have to do that, but it sounded like that to a lot of people. The Ian Rappaport report that a couple, the people that he talked to, his teammates, didn't feel like he was coming back. I still think the Clyde Christensen thing is a thing. I don't think Clyde would have retired, but maybe he was going to get fired, whatever. If Tom was coming back, I think he would want some familiarity with the staff. You look at the OCs that, Bill O'Brien's now gone to the Patriots. You look at the OCs that the Bucs are now in on. They're interviewing Keenan McCardell, who was the passing game coordinator, receivers coach in Jacksonville, correct?
Minnesota.
I think he spent some time at Jacksonville as well.
Yeah.
I know Keenan from his days here with the Buccaneers, super smart guy, very highly regarded. Jim Bob Cooter, just,
greatest name in sports.
Who I'm rooting for, just so we can say Jim Bob Cooter all the time. Just think of the headlines that you could do with that. We can go crazy with that if he gets hired. I think Thad Lewis internally probably has a good shot. People are talking a lot about him, and that would be the most cost effective. And if they're going in that route, which there are certainly some signs of that, then that might be a play. But I think this morning, all signs point to Brady not coming back and a rebuild. Now, I'm not saying he's definitely not coming back. I still think that Tom has not made up his mind. We heard that the other night very emphatically on his Let's Go podcast. If he effing knew, he'd effing done it by now. And I still think when he looks around and looks at all of his options, that this is going to be the best one. But, there are a lot of things that we don't know. There are a lot of things that we don't know about possible ownership in Miami, the situation in Miami. I still think Miami's the leader in the clubhouse. I'm not a big believer in this whole, we got Tua. They can easily come out and say, hey, well, we never thought we could get Tom Brady, but now we got him. Tua's going to sit for a while. And for them to come out and say, I think I heard them say this the other day, that the doctors have said just because he's had 3 concussions this year that he is in no danger or any more danger than anyone else to get a concussion. That is patently false. I've never heard one doctor ever, and we've talked to a lot of people about CTE. We've had them on the show, have ever said that, once everybody has said, when you get multiple concussions, you're much more prone to get another one. So unless Tua is this miracle, person, and they know somehow that his brain is better than others, it just makes no sense. So again, I don't listen to anything people say during these times, coming up to the draft, the offseason. Don't listen to anything they say. Look at what they do. Look at what teams do, and look at what people do, and that will tell you more than anything else. So Tom Brady may not have told the Buccaneers that he's not coming back, but certainly all signs point to that. In Julian Edelman, one of his good friends, and I know people want to discredit him, but Julian Edelman said there's no way he's going back to Tampa Bay. Gronk said the other day that he thinks he's going to play, and it's probably going to be something new and exciting. I don't think you would put Tampa Bay in that category as new and exciting. You look at what Tom went through this year here, and I know, people think that he has great relationships here, and I'm sure he does with a lot of different people in that organization. But maybe there's, if there's so much strife this year, if everything was so honky-dory with everybody, why was there so many issues this year? So I as much as I would love to see him come back, and I think it's the best spot for him, and clearly it's the best strategy for the Buccaneers to bring him back and delay the rebuild. But, that's not the Bucs' choice to make. It's Tom Brady's choice to make. And I would say this, if he has decided not to come back to Tampa Bay, and again, I don't think he's ruled it out. I think he probably wants to keep all of his options open, even if he doesn't think he's coming back. But he may get to the point where he says, you know what, that is my best spot. So I'm not going to sit here and tell Tampa Bay, no way. But I think obviously the Bucs need to know what's going on. They need to know what's going on, and they need to know in short order. And if he's not coming back to Tampa Bay, then it would be great for them to know, because that really, they can put full force into what they want to do. So I think as we sit here today, it's and I know Buccaneer fans get mad at me. Don't get mad at me, because the situation is what it is. Whether I want him to come back or don't want him to come back doesn't make a hill of beans, or whatever we say here doesn't mean anything in terms of what Tom's going to do in his decision. So don't be blaming us. It is what it is. And I think when you start looking at all the things that people are doing, moving out of their homes here in Tampa, going to Miami. I mean, is he living in Miami now? Is that where his home base is now?
I don't know. The whole thing that yesterday, the whole clip, and I don't know who filmed that yesterday in that school in Miami. I mean, that to me is the stuff that too much of the media do. I feel like when we have this whole saga going on, like we did last year, we're all trying to look where his whereabouts are, and then we try to draw a conclusion. I don't think there's any correlation whatsoever to Tom Brady looking at a private school in Miami, because we already know his kids are there.
Right. We already knew that.
We already know his kids are there.
Exactly.
When you get divorced, I don't know. I'm not going to claim that.
I'm not making a big deal out of that, because it's just.
Well, I'm just saying a lot of people have said that, though.
Yeah.
Are trying to this is a sign he's going to. No, it's not. It's really a non-issue.
The fact that he's in Miami and his kids live there is a sign. It is something that says, would that make it a more attractive place for him to be? Of course.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't think anything, though, that's happening right now is making it more attractive to him. Him being there at this moment, going to a private school. I don't think any of those things are telltale signs that he's going to Miami at all. Like, at all. At the end of the day.
What about moving out of Tampa?
I don't know. It's hard to answer these questions.
I know. We don't know. It's all speculation.
It's so hard to answer because we don't have all the facts together.
Right,
and
exactly.
I don't even, and again, like we keep saying,
he could have moved to someplace else in Tampa. I don't know that.
We don't.
I just know that the moving trucks were at 888 Riviera. So I don't know where he moved. I know he moved out. I know the moving trucks were there, or maybe he's moved some stuff out. But everybody on Davis Island is saying Brady left.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know you
don't see him anymore. The car's not there. But it's it's kind of a secretive compound. You can't really see in there very much where he was living. But
I'll say this.
Moving trucks would tell me.
I'll say this
he's
about
probably gone.
I'll say this about wherever he goes, wherever he decides to go or whatever. To me, everything that happened the first time around when he left New England and came here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest. Even though there was rocky parts throughout that season, it was largely a perfect storm, right?
Right.
Being able to come here with an established head coach and a team that had a lot of really good players on it, seemed like they were quarterback away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're able to bring in Rob Gronkowski. You're able to bring Antonio Brown with you and whatever. And you don't win a Super Bowl without doing those moves, by the way.
Absolutely.
That doesn't exist now.
It's hard to find.
And it's just 3 years later.
Yeah.
So any team out there, like a Las Vegas, who I see the reports all over the place. I don't know what to believe, that they feel like they can get him if he wants to come. Sure, I'm sure they believe that. But do they honestly believe they're winning a Super Bowl? I mean, this is for 1 year. This is for 1 year.
Yeah.
You're foolish to think that you're giving this guy a 2-year deal or when he's going to be 47. It's not happening.
Right.
It's 1 more year. Do any of these teams, Miami included, think they have any shot at winning a Super Bowl with Tom Brady for 1 year.
Yeah,
That
of course they do.
everything's going to align
Of
like it did in
course they
Tampa
do.
3 years ago.
Of course
I just
they
don't
do.
see that. I just don't see that. And especially in the AFC, as we've been over, there's not a path. There's not a path in the AFC.
I agree with you.
It doesn't exist.
I'm not going to say they can't do it. And once again, doubt Tom Brady, even at this age. Guess what? When he left New England, everybody was saying the same thing, right? He was washed, pick 6, can't throw anymore, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, he can still throw. He just needs a good situation. Look at that New England offense. He was that thing. You think that was awful. Of course, they scored more points than the Bucs did this year, but that was awful. He had especially towards the end of the year, the offensive line was toast. He had no weapons, kind of like.
I guess I just want to know. I just want to know those 2 places in particular, because what everybody's talking about is Las Vegas and Miami.
The Vegas bettors have the Raiders plus 350, the Dolphins plus 450.
Show me this great offensive line that these 2 teams had, like the Bucs had when he got here. Show me it.
I'm trying to think. The Dolphins have a decent offensive line.
We got Armstead at left tackle. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really. I mean, to the casual eye, I'm not sure if I can think of another guy on that offensive line at the moment.
Right.
Oakland, Colton Miller, he's a good left tackle. Okay, I understand they got the left tackles figured out, but come on, those lines are not even close to what he had in Tampa Bay the first 2 years.
Nope. Not close.
Even when you go to skill position players, I'm talking about Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski.
I think Miami can match that.
Tyreek Hill and what else is there behind those 2 guys?
Hill, Waddle,
that's it.
Gesicki. Yeah.
Gesicki is a non-factor in that offense. The way they run it, and he's probably going to be out the door.
He might. Well, plus they're bringing in Gronk. Don't forget that.
Well, I don't know that to be true. I just don't think
Tom goes,
I don't
Gronk
think any
goes.
of these situations match up to what he had in 2020. I don't think these teams are
agree
close
with
to that one,
I would
and I
agree with
don't
you,
think
but you know
either of
what?
those teams have a path.
Doesn't matter what you think, because these are egotistical maniacs, especially Stephen Ross.
True.
Think about him. He got burned in tampering, right? He got smoked by the league. What's the number one way he can get back at the league? Go sign Tom Brady. And guess what? The Dolphins can't legally talk to him until the tampering period, because he's not a free agent until March, whatever the March date is. So they can't really say anything until then. So hopefully the Bucs aren't in limbo till then. Hopefully Tom says, hey, I'm moving, it's my choice. I'm not coming back there. I can't tell you where I'm going. And that may be part of it right now. Because if he does say that, then they'll say, oh, and then he shows up in Miami like, oh, were you tampering again? And I know his contract is ending, so I got to double check this. I think I heard Rick Stroud say this on his podcast that they can't talk to him until free agency. But I'm not sure if that's the truth. If his contract, because that's right. Because only the Bucs have the ability to negotiate with him until that free agent deadline starts, and then other teams can jump in. And before that, I think it would be tampering. But regardless, Miami thinks that, and I think probably Brady thinks that that's a good enough situation, and it's better than Tampa Bay. So we shall see. Now, you can argue with me, and you can argue. It doesn't matter what we think. And I agree with you. I don't think it's as good a situation as he walked into here in Tampa. And I don't think the Miami Dolphins defense is as good as the defense that he had here in 20, and for the most part,
not
21.
a shot. And again, I just went back here to look at. I just went back to look at those offensive lines real quick for the Dolphins and the Raiders. Like the Raiders, do I have to read out the Raiders' offensive line for you? Colton Miller is a good left tackle. This is from left to right. Dylan Parham, Andre James, Alex Bars, Jermaine Eleminor. Who are you?
Never heard of him.
Okay. The Dolphins are a little bit better. Tyron Armstead, Liam Eichenberg, who, by the way, was even worse than Luke Edeke this year as a rookie. How's that tell you? Connor Williams, not bad. Robert Hunt, okay. And Brandon Shell at right tackle. These are not close to the situations that he walked into in Tampa Bay.
I agree.
They're just not close.
A better running game, but everybody had a better running game.
And maybe more creative minds. I'd see whoever's calling plays, McDaniels and McDaniel.
Yeah. And okay, and some of the comments we're getting here, I guess this is sometimes I wish y'all would listen to what I'm saying. I'm telling you folks that the visit to the school is not something that is, oh, wow. Okay. That's not the fact that his kids are in Miami and going to school. That's what makes Miami a more palatable place. Not the video, not the fact that he was at the school, okay? The fact that the kids are in Miami. Do we understand this? I'm not making a big deal out of the video. I'm just connecting the fact that Brady is in Miami right now. He's not in Tampa. He's not living in Tampa, or at least he moved out of his house. So that to me is it. May not mean anything to you, but if I was going to stay with a team, I wouldn't pull up stakes at the place I've been living. Okay, I wouldn't do that. I would stick around. It's not. I don't know if I want to pay the rent next month. I think he's good. Even if you thought it wasn't a possibility, wouldn't you keep it around? And maybe he has, and he just moved some of his stuff out to wherever. Maybe he wants to spend the offseason in Miami or whatever. I don't know. All I know is there were moving trucks there, and nobody's seen Brady since the end of the season. And people typically see him going, leaving, doing the things he does. And they haven't seen that in a week. So that's all I'm telling you.
But I don't get why that's so significant. It's the off season. He's talked about on the podcast the other night, the crash. I mean, I think Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Jamel, whoever, I think 3 of the cornerbacks, I think they were in Miami together this week.
Probably
hanging out. Are we going to
have moving trucks at their house?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I just don't think a lot of these things they're easy dots to connect to try to explain things to people. I get that. But I don't think in the grand scheme of things they mean much.
Yeah. So I'm not sitting here and saying it's definite. I'm just giving you more information. That's all I'm doing, is giving you more information. Yeah. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, I always thought Miami was the leader. I don't see Vegas. I don't see San Francisco.
But we've talked about Miami though a lot this week, and about the scheme they run and some of the things. I just went over some of the offensive line and the issues with the offense. Is that really a great fit?
But here's the thing.
I understand I know what your rebuttal is. His kids are there. That makes it fit, whatever. But like at the same time, from a logical standpoint, does it fit? I don't see it. And
all right. So to that end, so you're telling me that Miami wouldn't want Brady?
Of course, Miami wants Brady.
Okay. So Miami wants Brady.
Any good businessman wants Tom Brady.
Stephen Ross has a hard on to get Miami to get.
I think any owner would.
Let's just say. So if the owner says, I'm bringing in Brady, Mike, make it work. What's the coach say?
Yes, sir.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Let me hit my vape pen again. I got you. They're going to make it work. So whatever we're talking about in terms, now you're talking about Brady looking at this team and saying, is this a good fit for me? Is that what you're saying? Like he's looking at it going, can I get it done here?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, because I don't think that defense is near to the point that the Bucs defense was that he walked into. I don't think the line is. And I think there's a good chance. I'm not sure about Gronk. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that having 4 elite Hall of Fame weapons, instead of having 4, you're going to have 2, both with similar type of skill sets, which requires you having really good protection. And I don't think Miami can give him that.
I would think that Gronk, if Brady's going to play, Gronk's going to play. I don't think Brady would come back again for another year without him, to be quite honest. I don't. I think he knows I need him. If I'm going to come back, I got to have Gronk.
I'm sure Miami sounds nice to Gronk. I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you.
It's new and exciting, isn't it?
I'm sure it sounds nice, but,
It's new and exciting, right? Yeah, it is new and exciting. So that's my guess. That's my guess. That's my Tom Brady guess for today.
I'll go over this one from Mark P. The elite defenses are in the NFC, Philly, and San Francisco. I'd argue the path is easier in the AFC. Yes, the quarterback talent in the AFC is crazy, but I'd rather face Burrow than San Francisco or Philly's D in the playoffs. I see your point, Mark, and I don't necessarily disagree.
But
to me, there are 2 guys in this league that can overcome anything right now. Anything. And it's Mahomes and Burrow. So I don't know. I'd rather take my chances with Philadelphia or San Francisco than have to face Burrow or Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. None are good options. I'm not saying that.
And
but
you're still a huge Colin Cowherd fan. I did watch Colin yesterday, and he made some really good points. And one of the points that he made was, this is an offensive league now.
It is.
And he had Todd Bowles up there, and he had all the defensive coaches, and you go through all the defensive coaches, it ain't happening for him. The majority of good
Sean
teams
McDermott.
9 out of 10 teams that made 9 out of the top 10 offenses were in the playoffs.
7 of the 8 that were playing this past weekend.
Yeah, or the offenses, okay? And they have offensive head coaches for the most part. Defensive head coaches, look at you hate to say it, but when he's making his point, it's like Bucks had an offensive head coach for 2 years. The offensive coach went away. What happened? The bottom fell. The absolute bottom fell out of the offense.
Yeah.
I mean, historically, the worst progression in offense in the history of the league, and you kept the quarterback. I mean, you think about that. You've had times when, John Elway's retired and Peyton Manning's retired and they moved on to other guys and whatever, and they didn't have as big a drop-off as the Bucks did last year because and Colin makes a good point that it becomes a defensive culture. It becomes a defensive culture when you have a defensive head coach. For whatever reason, it doesn't work. And you know what else wins Super Bowls? As much as Mark P, it's a great question, great thought. Quarterbacks. Look at the quarterbacks in the Final Four and in the Super Bowl. Traditionally, who's it been? Mahomes, Josh Allen, right? Joe Burrow. We can go on and on. Tom Brady, Matt Stafford. It's great quarterbacks win in this league. You got to have a quarterback. I think the days of, you're going to have the odd year when a Trent Dilfer Ravens team wins a Super Bowl. But
we might see it this year with Brock Purdy.
You might, but then we may not. We might find out Brock Purdy's pretty damn good. We might find that out too. And if they win a Super Bowl, he's going to have to play well. And I don't think he's going to get out of this weekend. I think this Eagles defense in that suffocating environment is too much for San Francisco. I think the Eagles are going there, and they're going there with a quarterback who, what's his rating? As second best in the league? Jalen Hurts? Yeah. I mean, we could say he's not an elite quarterback, but guess what? He's playing elite football. Like one. He's playing elite football. And by the way, I believe he's an elite quarterback. I said that before the season. I said this guy, I may not have said he's elite, but I said he's going to win a Super Bowl. And he's good enough to take the Eagles to the Super Bowl. And I think we're seeing that. He's damn good. So, what does this mean in terms of what the Buccaneers should be doing? Well, number one, they got to get a pass rush. And number two, they need an offensive coach. And, Todd Bowles ain't it. Todd Bowles is not it. I hate saying it because I love Todd so much as a person and a man. But I'm just being honest with you guys.
I think most people would agree with that statement, though. If you were to poll Bucs fans on Todd Bowles right now, I think it'd be overwhelmingly negative. Because that's
why I think the reason he's still here is because of the rebuild.
If the barometer is, do you want to win a Super Bowl? And if you have to ask yourself, can I win a Super Bowl with this guy as my head coach? If I'm thinking about it for a long time, or I'm just flat out in no, it's a flat out no for me, then there's just no sense in keeping it,
right?
In my opinion, other than the fact that you're just making him a lame duck, which it seems like the Bucs are kind of setting up. And when you look at who they interviewed for the OC job already, none of these candidates, to me, I don't know. They're just it's a little flat, maybe.
Yeah.
Now,
this is not the elite.
This is not the elite.
And the elite's not coming. Listen, we all talked about Todd Monken. He would be a great fit. The organization knows him.
That's the thing. None of these people, none of these guys are guaranteed. Any of the offensive coordinators out there, none of them are guaranteed that they're working with Tom Brady. Right now, they're looking at the Bucs roster and they're going, okay, Kyle Trask is the only guy on contracted as a quarterback, and you got the 19th pick in the draft, so you're not really going to get a quarterback that I'm interested in working with, and you got a head coach who's perceived to be a lame duck.
And if you're honest with yourself, and you better be in making this decision, this is a rebuild. This is everything that is happening to this team right now. Again, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do, and everything that they've done screams rebuild. It doesn't scream Brady's coming back. If Brady was coming back, Brady would have handpicked his offensive coordinator by now. Don't you think? You think this whole notion that Brady's sitting back there going, okay, let's see who they get. Come on. That makes zero sense.
I think it's absolutely.
If he was coming back here, he'd be in there on top of the table telling everybody, this is my guy. And you don't think that guy would be hired by now?
Well, there's only been one hired. So,
well, trust me, if Tom Brady wanted to get somebody here and they were going to run this back,
I just don't think he knows but we've been over this. He doesn't know what he wants to do.
Well,
he's truly undecided. I think like he said, he's hit that crashing point right now where it's just.
I think the idea that if he was planning on coming back here, just think it through. If he was planning on coming back here, what would the conversation, what would they be doing? He would have already handpicked his offensive coordinator and the offensive staff, and they'd be working towards next year. and they'd be telling everybody he's coming back. Let's go.
What, a week after the season ends?
Brady's not sitting back saying, okay, let's see what the Buccaneers do, and then maybe I'll come back there. No, if he really wanted to come back, why would he do that? He would be proactive. He would be proactive in changing the situation to everything that he likes. Is this not common sense? Look at Brady's MO. Every time he wanted something, I want Antonio Brown. I want Gronk. I want Fournette. I want Ryan Jensen. What happens? The next day, it's done. It's done. So if he was really all in, and like a lot of you think, oh, he's coming back, he wants to come back. No, he would be picking his offensive coordinator. And with all due respect, it would not be Jim Bob Cooter or Joe Bob, whatever, Cooter. It would not be him. It would be someone that he has a relationship with. Do any of these guys have a close relationship with Tom Brady? Not that I know of. Not that, I mean, there may be, but I don't know of it. I don't see an obvious, like Bill O'Brien. Okay, yes. Somebody he's worked with in New England. Yes. Somebody that he's worked. None of these guys.
Well, the Bucs still have to protect themselves. They don't know what Brady's going to do. Brady doesn't know what he's going to do. They got to interview some guys, get some guys in the building.
I know, but I'm saying is, if Brady was coming back, would this be the way that they would go about it?
I just don't think the two things are connected right now.
Right.
I think there's still two sides to this at the moment. They have to get some guys in the building regardless to see how their temperament for taking the job, and get some guys who could have some interest in the event that Brady doesn't come back. You have to have that set up.
Yeah. And Joe will make my point for me. The 3 OCs that we are interviewing won't bring Brady back. Absolutely 100% correct. One more from Buck's Basement. Didn't Colin imply that Brady would live with Bowles? Nothing of this is significant. This is like grasping at straws. Sorry, JP. Listen, I'm not saying this is 100%, but none of these developments that we're talking about are positive in bringing Brady back. Would you guys agree with that? Where are the signs that he's coming back? Let me just ask you that. I'm just giving you signs that he's leaving. And I've lined them all up. Everybody that wants to disagree with me, line up everything that's happening that tells me he's coming back. I'll wait. Nothing's happening in the chat room. I don't hear anything from Nick Geddes. Where's the signs he's coming back?
I tell you what. Let's take a break and let's ask JC Allen.
That's a great idea. Let's ask JC Allen. Pewter Report coming up next. So, and you guys line it up. Thomas, Buck's Basement, all the guys that give me all the touch points that you tell me the signs that Brady's coming back. Okay, I'll be waiting intently. All right, we are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Back in 3 with JC Allen. For the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator.
Have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or italianoinsurance.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Italiano Insurance. Great time to do your Italiano Insurance checkup. Just give them a call at 813-877-7799. They represent a lot of different companies, and they will get your information, do all the shopping for you, and come back and say, hey, we can save you $500 on your homeowner's insurance. That's good, right? So why not call? Free call, 813-877-7799. And a human being will answer the phone. Customer service like the old days. All right, let's bring in our good friend JC Allen from the Pewter Report. What's up, JC? How you doing, partner?
What's going on, JP? How's everything? Doing well?
Great. Yeah, we're trying to figure out this Brady move. What's his next move? We're lining up. It's like a game of Clue, right? We need to pick up all the morsels and try to put this puzzle piece together. What's your take on the future of Tom Brady? What do you got?
I've still been held fast, and I saw your tweets and everything. I still think Tampa is the most logical landing destination for him, regardless of what happens. I think retirement is still there. I mean, I would probably lean, 60-40 towards a retirement here, but I think Tampa makes the most sense. And if you look around the landscape, obviously, 49ers will always be a team when he's a free agent that will pop up. But I just, they've got Brock Purdy, they've got Trey Lance. I don't necessarily know if they want to stunt those two guys' growth to bring in Brady for a potential year, but it also depends if they, if they win a Super Bowl or not. I think they're more than content. Maybe they think Brady's a missing piece. Raiders have been thrown around as well, according, if you believe Gronk and Dana White, that they were about to go there before Gruden nixed it. Josh McDaniels is there. They've got Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, but really that offensive line needs some help. Josh Jacobs isn't a lock to be back, as he may feel miffed that they didn't pick up his fifth-year option.
Good point.
They could franchise tag him, but that's neither here nor there at this point. And that defense needs a lot of work. That's not a championship caliber team right now. They play in the AFC, which is boasting teams with the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, and that conference and division itself. I mean, with Justin Herbert and Mahomes right there, and who knows what the Broncos will look like. Maybe Russell Wilson will bounce back. I sure as heck don't think they're going to finish as bad as he did this season, next season. So it's a lot. The Jets have been brandied about. Could he go to the Jets? His son Jack lives in New York. They have a good young core on both sides of the ball. And then the same thing with Miami.
Mentioned that on our show. Sal Powell mentioned the Jets on our show. And obviously they're going after Aaron Rodgers. I think that's pretty public knowledge right now. But I think if they don't get Aaron, then maybe Brady's in play there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think with the Jets, it's another AFC team. That AFC East division isn't what it used to be when Brady was running the show over there. And then same thing with the Dolphins. Does he really want the drama of going up against Belichick twice a year, Brady versus Belichick?
I think
this whole
love that. He would love
show,
that.
And I don't think he would. I think he was burnt out after that first game 2 years ago. So I just don't think it's a situation where. He's already under the microscope as it is. New York just takes that to a next level with paparazzi and everything like that. And Miami is a destination that I saw you thought that could be a serious possibility. Yeah. Obviously, Giselle moved down there with her kids. She's building a home. It's almost adjacent from Brady's home that he's building. Just a short little canal ride down the road from Brady's property. Yep. His kids are there. But the thing about Miami is, and I really don't think they are willing to move on from Mike McDaniels this soon, unless they move on from Mike McDaniels. I just don't see the fit there as far as the coaching style and the style that McDaniels wants to run. He wants to run bootlegs and lots of waggles. He likes athletic quarterbacks that can move out of the pocket. That doesn't fit Brady's game. So you have to change his whole system up to accommodate Brady. And while it is Tom Brady, but there's issues with the offensive line there, and that defense is a disaster too. It's not a ready-to-win team, I don't think, especially, again, in a tough conference, in a tough division. I think Tampa makes the most logical sense because of the proximity to his children. He's done it the last 3 years already. He's only a 40-minute plane ride away from his kids, vice versa, if they want to come up. Yep. Just put them on a private plane. Jack up in New York is only 3 hours away. In New York on a quick private plane ride. He's going to stay on the East Coast, I think. The Titans were also brought up, but that's a different story. Mike Vrabel is not going to be able to pull in there. with those wide receiver core, that offensive line, that defense, and an older Derrick Henry. So, but I just think Tampa makes the most sense. He knows the players, he knows the staff, he knows the ownership. He's comfortable with all of those. Will it depend on what happens at OC? I think that will play into it, but I don't necessarily think it needs to be Bill O'Brien or someone that Brady has had, extensive experience with. I think that will, the offensive coordinator will definitely be a part of the puzzle. But when you just look at everything else, and it's funny because Facebook, I'm on my Facebook memories and pops up, 3 years ago, I wrote a long thing on my Facebook wall explaining when, that Tampa Bay could be a really good destination for Brady.
Right.
And I got all
sense.
sorts of heat from it from all my friends because they're all New Englanders. So
trust me, I went through the same thing. I went through the same thing.
He's going to the Raiders. He's going, the Titans and like they are all just like adamant against it. And I just looked at it from a logical standpoint with everything that Brady wants, he needs. I think that's still in Tampa Bay. And I think this roster is still a roster that can compete for a Super Bowl. NFC South was doo-doo the NFC South was doo-doo this year. And the NFC Conference as a whole was not strong. You've got the Niners and the Eagles that kind of separated themselves, but everybody else is kind of middle of the road, I think.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real opportunity for them to bring Brady back, make some changes, whether that's along the offensive line, whether that's on the defense, etc., and have them be more of a 2001, 2003, 2004 Brady team where he wasn't asked to do all this passing. He wasn't asked to be the guy. He was asked to go out there and manage a game and let the defense do what they do best. And I think Todd Bowles is capable of putting together a defense that will hold opponents, and a new offensive coordinator who doesn't have predictable tendencies, who takes analytic information and applies it, and who pretty much just designs a game plan that does what this team will be good at. And I think they can be kind of back in the mix for, if not definitely the NFC South division, but if not a potential Super Bowl run. I just don't see another team where it provides all of that stuff: family life, on-field life, relationships, and somewhere where he's comfortable. And we know he's been comfortable in Tampa, living in the city. And I mean, that's another thing. If he goes to one of these other cities, not only is he learning new players, new coaches, new scheme, he's going to have to learn a new offensive system probably anyways, but now he's got to learn a new city, all these different things. I just don't see it happen.
Well, for the record, I agree with everything you said. Well, not everything, but most everything you said. I do think it's the best situation once he looks around. But I also think that all the signs point to him leaving. I don't see any signs that point to him staying. You know what I'm saying? It's just everything that he's done in the past couple of weeks. And I don't know if you just saw it this morning, but I've been told by multiple people on Davis Island, his neighbors, that the moving trucks were there and they haven't seen him all week. Now he may just be gone on vacation and was moving stuff out of his house. I don't know, but they and the realtor I spoke with said, no, the house is back up for rent. So the realtors usually know. And so if he's moved out of Tampa Bay and all the post game goodbye to all of us, that was very nice. I really appreciate you doing that, Tom. I don't see any signs pointing to him coming back. And I think if you really plan on coming back to Tampa Bay, wouldn't he be intimately involved in picking the next coordinator, especially after he had the horrific experience this year with Leftwich and, nothing being buttoned up? I think he would be very, very intimately involved in picking the entire staff. That's just the way he is. So, and that's not going on right now. So I would ask you, with all you said, and I agree, by the way, I think this is the best spot for him. Where are the signs that he's coming back?
I think you make a lot of good points. As far as the moving trucks and everything like that, that's a situation where I wouldn't read too far into it. I mean, when he's moving to these homes, it's not like he might have a few pieces of furniture, but these homes that he's renting are mostly pre-furnished. He's moving out some of his personal belongings. And that's, who knows? Well, I mean, we don't know the inner workings. Maybe he wanted to move to a different spot. Maybe the realtor wanted to move, get more for rent, etc. I mean,
we don't know.
We don't know all the inner workings there. We do know that he's building a home in Miami that will, be his, presumable
forever home, permanent
forward.
Right.
But there's situations that we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't, we heard the name Jim Bob Cooter, Clint Kubiak, Keenan McCardell. We don't know how much information that the Bucs have from Brady, that Brady is involved deeply in this offensive coordinator hunt. We don't know if they're going to be bringing names to him and saying, hey, is this a guy that you would, consider? Brady's not going to leave this team high and dry, I don't think, in any sense. I still think it's closer to retirement. He always said he wanted to play to 45. He accomplished that. Didn't have the season he wanted. Can't win every year. I know his record has been every other year since going back a few years, but it's just the situation of it. And maybe he doesn't have his farewell, final farewell, fairy tale story. But, there's nothing that I've heard that said he isn't in constant communication with the Bucs. Again, I don't think Todd Bowles needs to make an offensive coordinator decision strictly based on Tom Brady, because at this point he's year to year. Todd's got to worry about the staff that he has, the staff that he's put together, and his own job. He's got to get the right guy for the job, not just that could entice Brady to come back or could be a part of that puzzle, but also for the future as well if he wants to coach more than one season. It's not like he's on a one-year deal, year-to-year deal with Tom. He's going to make the best decision, and Tom understands that. And if it's a situation where Tom wants to come back and he likes what the offense coordinator has to say and what his vision's on the offense, then maybe he's back on board. But I don't necessarily know if it's a end-all, be-all situation that if the Bucs don't get Tom Brady's blessing on an OC, that he's during the process that he's officially going to leave or hang it up.
Well, I did want to talk to you about the draft. If we have a couple minutes left, I know you guys do an amazing job with the draft at Pewter Report, and you're going up to the Senior Bowl as well. And I know we're a long way away from the draft, and much needs to be done, and we got to find out if Brady's coming back, because that will affect the draft as well. But your overall sense of what the Bucs need, what their priorities are, and maybe some players they should be targeting.
Yeah, I think when you look at the situation, if Tom Brady doesn't come back, quarterback's your number one option. There's two routes they can go. They could go with a veteran, someone like a Jacoby Brissett, or maybe a Taylor Heineke, and have them come compete with Kyle Trask for that position. I don't think Griffin is back. I don't think Gabbert's back necessarily. Unless Brady is back, then there's a scenario where I think those two guys could be back, especially if Griffin's going to be on the practice squad. But if he doesn't, I think they're moving on to a different direction. The quarterback becomes number one priority. Other than that, I think they have multiple positions they have to target, and potentially multiple positions where they're going to need starters to come in or rookies to come in and contribute right away. Two of those positions are going to be at cornerback, and the other one's going to be at linebacker. If Levante David does decide to sign with another team, retire, doesn't come back, they've got a huge hole at linebacker. There's a few different players that I have caught my guy, Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. And then Drew Sanders is another guy I like inside linebacker if they go early. Those two players I think could come in and make an impact their rookie year. Cornerback is another one. Obviously, Jamel Dean and Sean Murphy-Bunting are both of their contracts up, as well as D. Delaney. Dean could probably price himself out of – he's going to be commanding a contract similar to Carlton Davis got last year, if not higher. If the market is reading correctly at this point, he was one of the best cornerbacks, specifically in man press coverage last year. So he's going to command top dollar. Sean Murphy-Bunting, I see it likely that he'll probably want just a fresh start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Having up and down tumultuous time the last few years, especially battling injuries. So that could be another position that they could need. Christian Gonzalez, if he falls there, is a name to keep an eye on. Keely Ringo out of Georgia is another guy.
Yeah.
But then edge as well. I mean,
Edge
they need
is
another
huge.
edge rusher.
Yeah, they do.
You got to get after the quarterback. That's huge. Shaq Barrett obviously is coming back from a huge Achilles injury. He never really won with speed. He's over the age of 30 now. How are those things going to factor? Joe Tryon-Shrinker, well, the pressures were there. The sacks weren't there. That's another position they could look at. There's Derek Hall is a guy that they could look at. There's a few other different guys that could flip or they can move up. And then left tackle. I mean, Peter Skoronsky is one. Broderick Jones from Georgia is another one. If they move on from Donovan Smith, that's going to be a huge priority for them too. Yep. And then a wide receiver at some point that's got game-breaking speed, I think, would be another area to target, whether that's, within the first couple rounds or later. But they need a guy that can really spread things up and open things up with some game-breaking speed.
That's good information there, JC. Great stuff. And I know you guys are going to be all over the draft. How can people get your content and Pewter Report content for this great offseason we're about to have?
Absolutely. Offseason is my favorite time. Free to see the draft. I'll be putting out lots of content, lots of opinions on Twitter and and stuff like that. So make sure you're following me at JC Allen NFL. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Pewter Report. All of our stuff is on pewterreport.com. And don't forget to check out our podcast. Brand new, 4 days a week, brand new schedule coming out for this off season at YouTube at Pewter Report TV. So definitely check us out there and all of our work. JP, it's always a blast coming on in, Nick. It's great to talk to you as well, and we'll do this again soon.
Hey, I was going to say, JC, before you go, thank you for your service this year, for your interactions with Byron Leftwich. You made my, I called them lunchtimes with Byron. They were very entertaining. Always was looking forward to y'all's interactions, so thank you. I'm sure you're going to miss those, though.
No logic.
Yeah, I will miss him. I don't know if he'll miss me. I can envision him going back into the coaches' room and be like, this guy's talking about EPAs, stuff like that. But what can you do? We gave him week in and week out the blueprint to finding this Bucs success, to get them on the right track, things that we recommend in the media to do better. And it just went through one ear, went through out ear. Stubborn is like what I like to call him. And
dumbass
stubbornness
media
led him to lose his job. Maybe he'll end up with the Ravens or Pittsburgh. Good luck.
Dumbass media. What the hell do you know about the EPA? Right. What does the Environmental Protection Agency have to do with this anyway? Shut the hell up.
What do you mean? What do you mean we gotta use more play action and play to our strengths? What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
We do that every week.
It's crazy talk.
And the funny thing is too, a lot of people don't realize, just because this year was under so much scrutiny, but last year and the year before that, these were the same issues and same concerns.
Yeah.
The only issue was that the Bucs had the talent to overcome those.
Exactly.
This year they didn't. Last year, I have video of me asking him again, asking him about predictability on first down runs. And,
back to year one, 2020. 2020, they didn't do any play action in the first 12 games, and then they finally started it, and they went on their run. Yeah, it's been bizarre from the beginning.
I asked him about predictability on first down runs. He goes, that's not a real question. That's like a fantasy football question. I asked him about scheming guys open. If, there's a more concentrated effort to scheme guys open instead of just having them beat guys one-on-one. We do that every year. We do that every week. Well, this was last year. This season, you didn't show any improvement on it. And when we brought it up consistently, it was just, brushed off as you guys don't know what you're talking about. I see things in practices you guys don't see.
There's a lot more going on you wouldn't understand.
Miss Cleo would have saw your future release from the Buccaneers. So.
Party shot by J.C. Allen. Let's put that up on the quote board. Let me get that right. Miss Cleo would have. That was good. All right, partner. Good stuff, JC. We'll talk to you down the line, man. Thanks so much.
Not a problem. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Yeah, I feel bad for Byron. Not really. He's gonna get a big old check to walk away,
Yeah,
and he's gonna be the new OC in where?
In Baltimore. He's lucky. He's lucky. There's like 12 openings around the league because it gives him new life
now. Yeah.
No. There's only been one OC hired.
I think I've heard that there's 6 OC openings now.
There's only been one OC.
Or maybe
hired,
that was
though.
head coach. How many head coaches a job?
There hasn't been a single head coach job filled yet.
Yeah, so
head
still
coaches.
5. Yeah, maybe 5.
There's like 12 OC now, 11, I think.
Yeah.
So he still has a chance to get one.
His resume looks good. Super Bowl champion, number 1, number 2 offense. It looks great. Resume looks great.
And I think JC just mentioned like Pittsburgh. If he went, could you imagine if he went to Pittsburgh and he thinks he gets it bad now?
Poor Kenny Pickett.
The questions he gets.
Poor Kenny Pickett.
Oh.
Yeah, he'll be shocked that any other market he goes to, how he'll be wanting to come back to Tampa where the pillows are.
I don't think we'll be as welcoming though.
No, well, I mean, but JC was great, and I think all the media, a lot of the media, were really good. But he was kind of the point person there, and we've all been in there asking questions and just not getting a whole lot of answers. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Brian Bradley's going to join us. Talk about last night's festivities at Amalie Arena. It was fantastic. What a night at Amalie Arena last night as the Bolts beat the Minnesota Wild 4-2 in a very entertaining game. So, quick break. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and the Valspar Championship coming up in March 16th through the 19th. Lots of great new stuff going on at the Valspar Championship. Jordan Spieth is coming. Sam Burns is the defending champion, and so many other things to do out there. It's not just golf. It's a social extravaganza. It's the Valspar Championship. Go to valsparchampionship.com to get your tickets. Back in 3.
Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott G's is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. Time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State. Get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry
line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back. As we'll jump right into this with our good friend Brian Bradley, who is on his way to Orlando, and wanted to just check in with him and talk a little bit about last night's festivities at Amalie Arena. What's up, Brian Bradley? How are you, my friend?
Good, JP. How are you doing today, buddy?
Outstanding. What a night last night. Not only honoring Stammer's 500th, but then he gets the game-winning goal. How cool was that last night?
Yeah, what a game-winning goal, man. He would have took that about 6-7 games ago where he banked it off the guy, I think, Hartman into the net. And the game-winning goal with 5 minutes or 4 minutes to go. But, I mean, you know what, JP? I know we talked about it upstairs. What a magical night. I mean, first Lightning player in history to score 500 goals for the Lightning, and captain of a team, great guy, role model, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. I mean, you can't say enough about Steven Stamkos and what he's meant to this organization, this franchise. I mean, you know, here's a kid that came here at 18 years old, and everything he's delivered for this team and this franchise. If you would have said that at the beginning when he was 18, he was going to do all this, it's over the top. I mean, he's everything that the Lightning wanted when they drafted him and more.
Yeah, it's so true. And you know, and Brian, when you came here at the starting of this franchise, you were that guy. You were the guy that everybody was counting on. You were the first all-star. And even though it was an expansion team, I imagine there was a lot of pressure with that, right? And the same thing with Stamkos. And how hard is it to deliver these type of numbers and to do what you do? And when all that pressure's on you, when everybody's looking at you to be the guy.
Yeah, you know, the first 5, 6, 7 years we were here, I mean, we knew we were here. We were on other teams, and you know, we just were given a second chance. And you know what? I came here with a positive attitude and worked hard. And you know, we knew we weren't going to probably win a championship, but we wanted to just compete hard.
Right.
And you know what? Because you know what, we wanted to build something for the future. I mean, you know, look at like Atlanta; they lasted 3 or 4 years.
That's
they
right.
moved to Winnipeg. That's what we didn't want to have happen. So, you know, you got to give the guys a lot of credit at the beginning because they built the franchise.
Absolutely.
That's where it is today. So, but, you know, Steven Stamkos, I mean, here's a guy, 18 years old, drafted. I mean, you know, 500 goals. I mean, I was around, I saw Lanny McDonald score 500 goals. Joey Mullen scored 500 goals in Calgary. And then, you know, Joe Noondike, who I played with too, scored 500. But, I mean, only the 47th guy to ever do that in the history of the sport. I mean, it's been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
And you know what? 47 guys to do that. That's not a lot of guys. I mean, you know, you can score 1,000 points, you can get 1,000 games, but 500 goals to me is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is, you don't get to see that too often. Trust me.
No, it's amazing. And, you know, Stamkos deserves all the bouquets that he's gotten. And it's just been, and it's not even close to ending. I mean, this guy is playing his best hockey of his career, had a career high 106 points last year, and he just keeps on going. And you said it a couple weeks ago, once he gets to 500, he's going to go on a streak.
Yeah.
And you were absolutely right. He's at 505 now. And, you know, and does it with a hat trick on the road. So you're absolutely right. Just talk about the way he's playing right now. And that was a big win last night. That's a Minnesota team that's played very well this year. They're in the playoff hunt. It's a good team, a team we lost to 5-1. To get that win after 2 straight losses, I think we don't need to lose sight of that as well.
No, you know, Minnesota's a tough team. There's certain teams when you play, they play well against you. And it seems like Minnesota always plays well against us. I thought their goalie Fleury played outstanding in that. Bazzi made some big saves. I thought overall we played a good game. We still look a little tired coming off that Western swing road trip, but you know, we found a way to win. Corey Perry had a couple goals.
Nice.
You know, Tippins in front. You know, Ross Colton had a couple assists. Kucherov with the empty net. But you know what? We'll take the win. I mean, we got a big game on Thursday against, we know who we're playing, the Boston Bruins. But I thought it was a good effort. I know we can be a lot better, but I mean, when you come off a 9-game road trip or 5 games, 9 days on the road, the guys are tired. It's been a grind, and they just did the swing before that to Winnipeg and Minnesota and St. Louis, I think. So, you know what? They're going to really enjoy this week. They're going to play Thursday against Boston, Saturday against Los Angeles. Then they got a week off. I think the week off is really going to help the Lightning. I think they need that to get them back where they need to go. It looks like we're going to play Toronto again in the first round. Whether it's home ice or away, it doesn't matter. Boston can't be caught. I don't think anybody can catch us in third place.
No.
And it's between us and Toronto, who maybe can flip-flop. But at the end of the day, hey, Toronto's got to beat Vasilevsky 4 times. He's the best goalie in the league, in the world by far. And you know what? It's not easy to do.
All right, Brian, I know you got to get going, so appreciate your time as always. And let's have you on Thursday to preview that big game against Boston.
Yeah, let's call me from the rink and stuff like that and go from there.
Let's do
Over and out, JP. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
man. Great. Brian Bradley right there. Oh, Thursday night. Oh, there come the big bad Bruins. That is going to be fun. And you know the Lightning are going to have they'll give it their best effort. That's going to be – last night the place was rocking. For a Tuesday night, the place was absolutely packed.
We had celebrations in order. It feels like we're doing celebrations for Steven Stamkos like every other game at this point.
You know what? And I said that last night on the last call with Brian Engblom. You know, we're spoiled. We are so spoiled with the Lightning. These things that are happening are monumental, and a lot's going on with this team right now in terms of milestones. Last night was Andrei Vasilevsky's 250th win. He is the second fastest goalie to get to 250 wins.
Ooh.
Only behind Ken Dryden, who I think it's 373. It took Vasi 389. And as Brian mentioned last night, but I don't know if we record those and you can listen back to the post game show. I think you can on the website on the TampaBayLightning.com. But Brian did a great rundown on Marty Brodeur, Dryden, some of the guys he played with and against, and covered. I mean, he has such a great perspective on these goalies. And he's like, yeah, Vasi is as good as any of them and may end up being the best ever. I mean, think about that. Second fastest to 250. And they mentioned Ken Dryden played from 70 to 79. The league was, much different then. There's way more competition. You play way better teams on a nightly basis. So for Vasi to do what he's done at his age is really unprecedented. And we're watching this cat, literally the big cat, who may end up being the greatest goalie in the history of the NHL.
Yeah, he's never got that shot. Yeah, outside of wins, like the other numbers, he's never going to have the regular season numbers. Like he's not having you're never going to see a season where his goals against is under 2 or his save percentage is over 940, like some of these great goaltenders have had. But when it comes to playoff time, and I think that's obviously more important when it comes to a goal. It's like a closing pitcher in baseball. Yeah. What do you do in crunch time?
It matters.
Those things I think matter a little bit more because the way this team is positioned right now, and Brian kind of touched on it, every year it's like the Lightning have gone through these peaks and valleys the last 3 years, right? During the regular season, which we're okay with because the playoffs come and they become a new team.
Long season.
And you look at the standings, like Brian said, nobody is anywhere close to Boston. But nobody's close to the Lightning who are sitting in third. Yeah. So you could probably just pencil them in already.
The Lightning
for Toronto.
The Lightning are on a pace to either better or equal what they did last year in terms of the regular season.
Yeah, and even though this year it seems like it hasn't been as buttoned up. We've had some discussions about they're not beating the really good teams. Well, I mean, I look at the standings right now I have in front of me. They're 5 points away. They're 5 points off from being the second best team in the league.
Right.
Like.
Come on.
Even when we're sitting here, again, it's just testament to the standards that they brought on themselves, but they're 5 points away from being the second best team in the league.
Yeah.
And if
they're playing well.
Yeah, they're playing well. And you get Boston coming in here.
And this is a tough stretch. You had Minnesota, Boston, and LA.
Yeah.
And this, the 5-game road trip, and then they'll get the All-Star break. So once they come out of the All-Star break, I think they're going to be sitting in a really, really good position.
Yeah, and I think Breece Ball is going to be making some moves.
Yeah, he met with the media yesterday, and I think you definitely got a sense that they like what they've done. The team evolution this year has been really, really good, but there are some holes, and he will most definitely be aggressive and try to address them. I think you could probably see maybe a bottom 6 forward that they could acquire?
Yeah, I think he did mention Rudolph Balcers by name,
yeah.
who has been down in the AHL. I think he had an injury. They like him. He's got some scoring kind of potential in him, and they're hoping he could be that guy. But I just know that Julian Brees-Ball, if there's something he's uncertain about this roster, it's not going to go left unattended.
No. And I also think that if we're being honest, I think that bottom six has underperformed.
It has.
I think they got more in them. I think Ross Colton's got more in him. And he had played really well yesterday. He played really well last night. I think he's got more in him. I think I don't know how much you can expect from Patty Maroon, but
he's got a certain role.
Yeah, he's got a
Perry
crunch
scored
time.
twice last night.
Perry scored twice. I was just going to say Perry scored twice last night, and while he's not shooting as much as he used to, he's going to find a way to get big goals.
Yeah.
He is. And those guys, you can count on in the postseason, which is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Another guy that plays really well in the postseason who's having a great year is Alex Killorn. So they've got, as much as we want to focus on the regular season, what I like about this team is they still have that core that is playoff experienced. And that freaking matters, as you saw last year against the Panthers and against Toronto and all the way through. That freaking matters. And I still maintain that Braden Point was in the finals. We'd have won that
Probably.
too.
Hey, Richie asked here, do you think we could use another young defender? I think they definitely could use another defender. No doubt about that.
Yeah, they won't go for a young one, though.
But young ones are hard to find.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to ask, I didn't get a chance to ask Eric when we had him on last week, but I'm just kind of wondering where the value sits for a guy like Cal Foote, because he kind of has, I'm going to be honest, and I know it takes a while for defensemen to develop, and you have to play that patience game. But even early on, when we were waiting for Sergachev to get going and we were waiting for Hedman to get going a little bit, we kind of knew eventually it would come.
We saw more flashes.
I don't see it with Cal Foote.
Yeah.
I don't see those flashes. And I'm looking at certain signs. The fact that he can't get into the regular lineup and he's competing with like a cast-off like Hayden Fleury. Nick Perbix is coming and totally just taking away that role.
Yeah.
They got a contract awarded from it. So
I love that about the Lightning. No offense to Cal Foote, but they don't care what your
no, they don't.
Is.
I'm just curious where that guy's value would be right now, because I have
trade market.
Yeah, because the Lightning, the farm is washed up. Okay, they don't have the assets to move for some of those big names like they have in past years, and of course they've traded a lot of their draft capital as well. Yeah. So they're going to have to get really creative. But I have to wonder where his value is, because he still carries the cachet of being a former first-round pick not too long ago, and the NHL seems to always think that they can always squeeze something out of that.
Yeah, I agree. But I tell you what, I have faith in Brees-Ball because he has been phenomenal at the deadline. He's really made moves that have been, super important, and not only just for that year, but have set you up for years to come. And we got 2 years out of Goudreau and Coleman.
And
for 3 years.
Yeah, 2 years. And now you got long-term security with Paul and Hagel.
Who are great fits and great acquisition. And I'll give up 2 first-round picks for guys I know can play in the NHL and know can be in our
especially
system.
when you're contending right now. Yeah. Stamkos has said it over and over. We don't care about the draft pick.
No. And those guys are years away. It's just when you got this core, absolutely 100%.
And here's the way I'm looking at it too. Like we're talking about right now, the Lightning. It feels like they probably need to make a move. At the same time, I still think, even though the fact Boston is up there in the lead and Toronto's in front of us, those teams still need to make moves, in my opinion, to counter the Lightning when we get to playoff time. Because I still think, I don't care where the Lightning are sitting at in the standings going into the postseason, they're still the team to beat.
And it's like,
and these teams are going to get desperate and try to make moves to take them over the top. And guess what? Florida tried that during the offseason, and they're sitting out of the playoff race because they blew up their team and tried to make it different, right?
Right.
And now they're going to miss the playoffs. And that was completely done to counter the Lightning.
Right.
So you got to force one of these teams to get desperate.
They've played a little better lately.
Yes, so they have. Maybe they'll find something, but as of right now, they're out of the playoff hunt. So to me, this is still the team to beat when you get to playoff time. The teams around them are the ones that still have to counter what the Lightning do.
Agreed. All right, let's listen into let's hear the goal. Let's start with the Stamkos goal last night, number 505, and it was a big one with 5:30, I believe, left in the third period in the tie game.
Well collected in the Lightning end. Left wing Victor Hedman, under 6 to play. Feed up the middle, Stamkos, touches for Kucherov. Winds it for Sergachev across the Minnesota line. Skates to the right circle. Sergachev looking to center it. Stamkos swept it in front. Score! It's in! and went into the Minnesota net off Hartman. The Lightning have scored to make it 3-2. Stamkos will earn credit for it with 5:38 left.
Well, this is really a weird little bit of a play, but he didn't give up on it. So that's ended up why he scored. Sergachev, first off, gets the puck. He goes around. He passes it to Stamkos. Stamkos shoots it, but it deflects off a guy, and then it hits Hartman right in front of the net. Yeah, that's right.
Get it on net, baby.
And then,
Good things happen.
What he always says, right?
Get it on net. Good things happen.
It's amazing though that the
Fleury
Steven
was
Stamkos
good last night too.
Yeah,
Both
he had a
really good.
he had a nice form, but it's amazing that Steven Stamkos, like, he couldn't buy a goal there for a while,
Yeah.
and now he's scoring all these dirty, filthy, grimy goals in front of the net.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful. And what a moment to do it last night. Let's hear from Stammer, because man, it's just one celebration after another. By the way, his son Carter was mic'd up last night, and they've got something up on the Bolts website with him during the whole ceremony and everything. It's absolutely hilarious. You got to go see that. So great night for Steven Stamkos. They did my Lightning Vision folks did an unbelievable retrospective on Stamkos with Phil Esposito narrating it. I put it on my story if you want to check it out. But I think you can go to the website. I think they have it up on the website. If not, I'll see if they can put it up, and we'll put it out today. But it was so well done. And then Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby sent videos as well.
Oh, they did?
Yes, and they put them up on the Jumbotron, which was really, really cool. So, yeah, the Lightning Vision team is just so good, and they set it up last night so perfectly and executed it to perfection.
I do agree, though. I'm like, what else do you like? He's going to hit 1,000 games now coming up, right?
Yep.
It's like, well, okay,
that's the next one.
What are we giving him?
It's like that's what he said.
I don't know what else to give him.
Yeah, he's got too much. What's left to give?
Too much bling. But here was Steven after the game.
Steven, another ceremony. What was that? How cool was that?
Yeah, no, it's great. They come in pretty expensive for the guys this year with all the gifts. So, but no, like I said before, and for the thousands, it's great to be at home and celebrate that with obviously, my family and my teammates and coaching staff and entire staff, the fans. I mean, they were great again tonight. So it's one of those moments where you allow yourself to sit back a little bit and enjoy the video and some of the fresh face goals and the teammates who made those plays, and it was pretty special.
What about the messages from Alex and Sid? Did you
know? No. I mean, I didn't know of anything. So, but obviously a ton of respect for those guys. Those guys are legends in our game, and to be one of the three active guys with those two guys is pretty surreal. So, appreciate the videos from them.
How long does it take to put that emotion aside and get ready for that game?
Yeah, no, it was. You try to just get out there and get that first shift under you. I know it's a little bit of a wait for the guys and for the other team, so I appreciate everyone waiting around. But maybe a little bit of a sluggish start for us tonight. But I thought as the game got on, we got a little better.
How hard was it to fight through the second period with all the calls and the starts and stops?
Yeah, I mean, PK. I know we gave up one, but we had some big stops there and kept the game within reach, and knew going in the third, a tie game, we had a chance to win it. So I think we've just utilized our momentum here on home ice. We've been really good here lately, and it was a good third period for us to get some confidence.
Well, how about the play to on your goal, the breakout and everything else?
Yeah, no, it was a good puck possession breakout. Good D up the ice to me. I hit Cooch, and he made a great play at the line. I mean, a little bit of a broken play after that, but the entry was clean, and that's what you want. You want to gain the zone with some puck possession, and I mean, for all the good plays that don't go in, you're rewarded with one like that. So certainly a big goal in the game. We'll take it.
They came out buzzing there in the third when Vass is making all those stops. You guys think man, just get one. Vass is going to hold it the rest.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we know what Vassy brings every night, so he gives us a chance to win, and made some huge saves. So that's exactly what it was. I mean, gave us a chance to win the game late, and that's what you want in a goalie.
Tonight's game winner probably won't end up on your highlight reel, but it was an important goal anyway for the 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, it might. You never know what they're going to show, but no, like I said before, there's certainly some good chances that we had tonight, myself included, with a few, and didn't go in the net. So just to get one like that is nice, especially with whatever it was, 5.5 minutes left in the game. Like I said before, you really want to win these games where you have special moments like that. They always sit better in the room after the game when the guys are feeling good after a win. So it was a good win.
Steven Stamkos there, and the finish wasn't a Renoir, but it certainly was a nice.
You take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You take it, and you get ready for Boston, who, by the way, I think they're coming in on a 6-game winning streak, Boston, and during that stretch, they've only given up 7 goals.
Yeah, they're historically good this year.
That's it.
They're so good. They're even in the first block of the ESPN highlights last night after they get
oh, really?
They have to get all the NBA highlights out of the way.
Oh, well, Jimmy Butler didn't play in the premier game, so there was nothing there to talk about.
Yeah. So, that was a great win last night, and Vasi was tremendous. I think the team played better, but it's Thursday night, and an even bigger win because they're looking a little.
Oh
bit
yeah, I knew they were looking
night.
ahead to that.
Yeah, they were looking a little bit ahead. So, here we go. This is going to be fun on Thursday night, no question about it. And by the way, a couple other things that happened last night. We had a military reuniting last night. That was so cool. We always love those. Put those up on the Jumbotron. Josh Duhamel, the actor, was there last night. We're starting to get all the superstars coming in that love to come to Lightning games. What else happened last night? I wrote down a bunch of different things.
If Tom Cruise wants to come to see a good team play,
yeah,
can we get him to a Lightning game?
Well, he came to the game.
Has he been to the Lightning game?
Yeah, he was there a couple weeks ago. I mentioned that. I thought on.
Really?
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was. I think he was there to see the Rangers, though.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe he's a Rangers fan. I don't know.
I don't know.
He was there on.
I felt so bad for him when he came to the Bucks Cowboys game.
Yeah,
he left early and everything.
Yeah. He was there for the Rangers games. I didn't even know he was there for the Bucks Cowboys game.
You didn't know he was there?
I didn't see him. I saw a lot of people. I didn't see him.
Oh, they didn't show him at the Jumbotron at all?
I don't think so.
They showed him. It was like who has been. They went through all the stars. It was Tom Cruise, Hulk Hogan, John Daly, and somebody else, I think, was big too.
Yeah.
But Tom Cruise was the big one.
I think it's just becoming a hotbed for celebrities to live here.
Of course it is.
I kind of like enough's enough. Like I don't want to be Miami.
Didn't we have this discussion yesterday?
I don't want to be
we're
Miami.
Becoming Miami slowly.
God, I don't want to be Miami.
Oh.
We're starting to be Miami though. Yeah, you know what? Hopefully we'll hold on to our blue collar roots and not go all plastic LA like they have in Miami. But that's up to us as a core. The OGs that have been here. Let's not turn into Miami. Absolutely. And that's the other thing. If Tom wants to go live in Miami over Tampa, bye-bye.
Oh my goodness. Don't do that. That's a little disrespectful.
He's more Miami than he is Tampa.
Oh, come on.
Thanks for the Super Bowl.
Hey, you know what I watched last night?
And I tell you what, and let me just throw this out there to Buck fans.
Oh.
You know what? Let's take a break. And when I come back, I'm going to throw this out to Buck fans. I'm going to throw this out. Well, let's put up a Twitter poll on it as well. I'm not going to give it away, but we'll do it afterwards. So we'll take a quick break. Remind you that we welcome in this week the Valspar Championship as our new sponsor. Of course, they're with us each and every year, but it's that time again, March 16th through the 19th coming up. Get your tickets now because the premium seating always sells out because it's become the biggest social event of the spring. Not only golf, but a social event. They've got a bunch of new stuff like the rooftop, which is going to be really cool at 18. So go get those tickets because those tickets will go out. The Hooters Owl's Nest always sells out. So go get those tickets if you haven't done already. The Snake Pit, those will sell out. Saturday will sell out because it's Darius Ruckers. Sell out, sell out, sell out. So get on it now. ValsparChampionship.com is where you need to go. Back in 3 with a poll question. I think I can't wait to see what you say.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years.
The boys are back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of incredible golf plus a host of activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. There is more to the Valspar than just great golf. It's the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Snake Pit Club, accessible by premium tickets, and other great venues throughout the course for those with ground tickets. And new in 2023 is the Rooftop, a new prestigious venue at the 18th green with music, food, and fun. Plus, you never know who you're going to see at the Rooftop. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
2 and 13. Hello. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're trying to formulate this poll question regarding Brady. Welcome back, by the way, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you're looking for testosterone replacement therapy, looking to lose weight, build up your immune system, the folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center are the place to go. Chris Lugo joins us each and every Monday at 11:45 to talk about the injuries, and he was on Monday at 11:45 and we talked about Patrick Mahomes, and we agreed that this is going to be a heavy lift for Patrick Mahomes with a high ankle sprain on his right plant foot. Dr. Lugo talked about it, so go back and check that out in our Monday show at 11:45. He talked specifically about that type of injury and how it's going to really limit his movement. So if you're looking for new primary care, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, and check him out every week at 11:45. I think you'll get to know him and really appreciate his knowledge in so many areas and how he can help you. So go to Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, so here's the poll question.
First off, before we get to this poll question, I apologize for any anger this this poll may create.
Well, that's the whole point.
And I was not involved in the making of this poll. Now I'm a paid employee, so I'm typing this poll because I was told. But
Well,
this is not my poll.
Of course, I'm trying to stir up the emotion of Buccaneer fans because we want to elicit emotional reactions and really see where your head is at Tom Brady. So I think this is interesting. I think it's phenomenally interesting because, who was it? It's just Sebastian Maniscalco. When I went to see him at Amalie Arena, this was last year, so it was after he'd won the Super Bowl. I think it was in the middle, and Bucs were making another run, and he asked the audience. He's like, "All right, I got to know, how many of you guys hated Tom Brady before he was a Buccaneer?" Everybody was like, "Yeah, of course we did." And now, how many of you love him now that he's won the Super Bowl? Of course.
That's how it works.
That's exactly how it works. That's exactly how it works. So, but I want to kind of tap into that. So we're going to ask you, if Brady signs with the Miami Dolphins, what will be your lasting impression or perception of him, of his time here in Tampa Bay? So your first choice will be good luck, thanks for the Super Bowl. Your second one is bye, you're washed, which I think might get a lot. The third one is, what did we say?
Greatest buck of all time.
Greatest buck of all time. And then do we want to do a D? Which I would say, hope you go 2-13. Well, no, what is it? 17? Sorry, 2-14, 2-16, 2-15, 2-15. Whatever. Make it up. Make it equal 17 and be bad. Because I think Buck fans will root against the Miami Dolphins and I think they'll root for Brady to fail. I don't think there's any question about that.
I don't know which Bucs fan you're talking about because it won't be me.
Yeah.
The theme has always been that we were going to thank Tom Brady for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor. I want the statue. I want the number. I want all of it. I want all of it. There's no player that's been as important to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ever
to this franchise
than Tom Brady. No debates. None. In all respect to the Leroy Selmans and everybody on the 2002
Derek
team,
Brooks,
nobody has been more important to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers than
Rondé
Tom Brady.
Barber.
Nobody has been more important to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers than Tom Brady.
Yeah. But to me, there will always be a mercenary feel to it. So I'm going to, and this is a little raw.
What does
right
that
now.
matter, though?
It's a little raw. I mean, in essence, they're all mercenaries, right? They're all paid professional football players. I get it. But, when I look at a Rondé Barber who spent his entire career here, do I want to elevate Brady over him? I have a personal relationship with Rondé, so it's hard for me to do that. The same with Derek Brooks. There's for a guy that really made this franchise, took it from the yucks to actually a legitimate franchise. And I'm talking about, Brooks and Rondé and Lynch, all those guys. It's hard for me to elevate Brady over that, but it's raw right now.
For a Bucs fan who was born in 1999 and basically did not get to witness that era that you saw, Tom Brady is my savior.
Yeah, I see that.
Because I went 12 years of irrelevancy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why my larger point today, I keep seeing all these polls around town.
Mm-hmm.
Would you welcome Tom Brady back, Bucs fans? And I'm seeing stuff like 45% of fans who are saying no. You just want to rip the bit. You just want to start over. You just want to rebuild. I think I can speak for every Bucs fan. I don't care if you were born in 1960, 1970, 1980, and so forth on. I don't care. You have seen the worst of what this franchise can be. Every single generation of Bucs fan can say that.
Mm-hmm.
How many rebuilds have the Bucs tried to do? And by the way, to do a rebuild, you have to have been there in the first place, and that hasn't happened much. How many failed reboots, rebuilds have they tried?
A lot.
How many quarterbacks have the Bucs found through the draft in their entire 40-something, 50 years?
A couple of them went on to other things.
Maybe other places, but in Tampa Bay, has it ever happened? I don't think so.
Trent Dilfer.
I don't think so. How many of you guys bitch and moan about the 1:00 start times?
Me.
A lot of you do.
Yeah.
How many of you enjoyed going to Raymond James Stadium when it had 40,000 people in it and it was a dead atmosphere and it was hot as hell outside and the Bucs were getting killed and Jameis Winston was throwing picks every day?
Sucked.
Is that what everybody want? Is that what y'all want? The 45%? Really? Really?
No, they don't. They don't. But
you guys are out of your mind. You 45%ers.
But so here's the thing. This is what I want.
Oh my goodness.
In my perfect world. This is what I want, right? I wanted Tom Brady to come to the podium after the playoff game where he threw an egregious pick and sunk the chances and did not play well. Certainly wasn't all his fault. He was under extreme duress, but did not play well. Okay. I wanted him to come to the podium and say, you know what? This has been a bad year. A lot of things have happened to me in my life, and I have not been able to give my full attention and focus to this franchise and to the fan base. And I am intent, as I stand here today, to right this wrong. And I am coming back to the Buccaneers organization because I am not going out this way. And this team is not going out this way. My tenure here in Tampa Bay is not going to end in this futility. We're coming back. We're going to be healthier. We're going to make some changes on the offensive staff. Well, maybe not say that. We're going to make some changes. And as I stand here today, I am going to, this is my best shot to go out on top, and we're going to come back and win a Super Bowl. Brady out. Just drop the mic and walk out. That's what I wanted to hear.
You wanted to hear that right after the game.
Yes.
Well, you know what?
With building John Williams orchestra music behind it.
This isn't the game plan.
That's
or
how
whatever.
I would have produced it.
No, this isn't the game plan or whatever sappy Disney movie that you want to make. This isn't that.
Come on, I'm a writer at heart. This is the way I want. But my point is, everybody, you want Bucs fans to just, embrace Tom Brady as this great savior that came in here.
I already know what you're going to say.
And, to me, this felt more like, and I'm glad Brady came here, and I'm glad he did it. And all, players are mercenaries, and I get it. I get all that part of it. But part of me wanted Brady to be more in with us. And I never got that sense.
Who cares? His job is to win football games.
That's
Did he
true.
do a good job at doing that? Yes or no?
Yes, he did. He won a Super Bowl.
He did.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl.
He chose the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He chose the Buccaneers, and that's forever.
I could care less. I could care less if he didn't go to Trader Joe's to go his shopping, okay, to get his little paper bags and his tiny little pumpkin. Okay, I know from experience, folks. I hate that place, by the way. I'm so sorry he didn't go to Trader Joe's to show his face.
That's not what I
meant. That
meant.
awful parking lot. I'm sorry he didn't go eat at Olivia and see everybody, No.
That's not what I'm
Who cares?
talking about. I just, this year is especially. And I don't know, that video that was put out yesterday, it just was the weirdest thing that the team would put it out like that showed Tom Brady, trying to rally the troops and he being just almost completely ignored by his teammates. I don't know what the purpose of that. What it showed me is there was a disconnect between Brady and his teammates. Of all the pieces of video that they chose to put out there, that was bizarre to me. And I wish I knew, why that was put out, because it wasn't just done willy-nilly. So I don't. And now I feel like Brady is just kind of, I'm going to do what's best for me, and I'll go see what's out there and what's up. So
he's earned that right.
He has.
He's 45 years old.
He has.
He can do whatever he damn so pleases. But it doesn't matter. If he goes somewhere else, I'm not good. There's no way I'm going to be like, no, Tom, you won us a Super Bowl, but forget about it. You betrayed us.
Yeah, and I think this may be, if you're being optimistic about him coming back, this may be his way of putting pressure on the organization to say, I'm not going to give you any guarantees. You go show me what you're going to do, and then I'll decide what the best situation is for me. And that's probably the most prudent. And I know I'm being somewhat contradicting myself here, but that's probably the most prudent thing for him to do. But, I just want the feeling that maybe he's all more in with the organization that has been so good to him. I mean, you talked about everything this organization has done for him, and JC talked about it. Scott talked about it yesterday. I mean, this organization has done everything possible. They've opened the checkbook. They've rolled over for everything he wants. And sometimes you want to take time off. You got to want to go to the wedding. Okay, you want to take everything. What else do you need, Tom? You can handpick your players, handpick everything, and it just seems like, okay, that's not enough. You can't have a little bit of loyalty and say, I'm coming back for one more year and I want to do it here. And I want to build it. I think that would have energized the fan base. It would have energized the organization.
Regardless of what we may think, regardless of what we may think about the roster this being the best situation for him. That's our opinion.
Right, exactly.
Okay?
I don't think it's his opinion.
Tom Brady's coming back, if he comes back, to win a Super Bowl. If he is so turned off by this season and says, hey, you know what? I just was in the foxhole with these guys for 17, 18 games this season. It was awful.
Their game day effort was embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm calling guys out on the podcast. You know, you're seeing the way they're responding. It just was I have a bad taste in my mouth. I don't really want to go back down that rabbit hole.
That's what it feels like.
If that's his opinion, that's his opinion.
That's what it feels like. Doesn't it feel that way to you?
I don't know.
When you watch the video, when you watch all the, of course we watch every game. I watch every cutaway. I watch him come to.
It just could be that it could be that simple of he does not feel that Tampa Bay still gives him the best shot to win a Super Bowl, regardless of what we think.
But I think JC Allen.
But that doesn't mean that I resent him for that.
JC put it out there just like we have all week long, and I agree with him. I think this is his best place to go. I do.
Yeah.
But I don't think he thinks that.
Yeah. The video, by the way, I assume you're referring to the video we played yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
Donovan Smith, I guess he saw y'all talking about him.
Yeah. What'd he say?
He said, LMAO, yeah, y'all bugging. That there is what I call a reach. Yeah, well, I saw you reaching a lot to your left, bud, all year. So
reaching to his right.
Or his right.
Yeah. His elbow was dislocated.
That video does not just tell the story of Donovan Smith's season. I promise you, there's way more there.
Mark P's just like me. I'm still pissed Brady never called me to hang out. Jerk, right? Exactly, jerk. The folks who want to rebuild think somehow, some way, we're going to stumble into a generational quarterback. It doesn't happen that way. Sorry, sign a veteran free agent quarterback if Brady leaves, like Carr, Jimmy G. I'm all in on that. I'm all in on that. Except
with what money?
Yeah, that's the problem. You're not going to be able to.
Again, for the people that want to move on from Tom Brady, if you're not satisfied with Kyle Trask, or you're not satisfied with whoever you get at the 19th pick, well, then you need to be open to Gardner Minshew and Taylor Heineke and Sam Darnold. That's what you're getting on board for.
Yeah, Richie P, so smart. Not for nothing, but I'm with JP on that. Mario Christian says the Bucs were a 7-win team before Brady. If they win 7 games without Brady next year, for it would have been blah season. All right. Look, we only won 8 this year. It's not like people want to.
You'll win 4 next year.
Division championship, and we went to the playoffs with Brady, and without Brady, we don't obviously because he won those games.
No, and maybe the NFC South's going to be probably a train wreck next year as well, in all likelihood, with those quarterback situations. One of those stopgaps I just told you, maybe you can luck your way into winning the division again.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah,
but you know what?
I'm
not going to be just selling out for that though.
I think that's middling it.
It is.
And I don't think we should middle it. I don't like the word tank because the players don't tank, organizations tank, the way they set you up. But I think tanking is not the right word. Rebuilding is the right word. Just be mature about it.
That stuff doesn't work. Again, for the people that live in fantasy land, that we can just tank the season and we can get Caleb Williams and all this stuff. The Texans had one of the worst teams I have ever seen this year. Did the Texans have the first overall pick? No, they don't. It didn't work.
The Bears.
The Dolphins wanted to get the first overall pick. They were open about it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. And then Brian Flores screwed that up.
And they ended up with the 6th overall pick, I think it was.
Yeah. Brian Flores screwed that up. That's why he got fired.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Bucs still have way too much talent on this roster for you to be as bad to get a pick like that. It's not happening.
And you don't know, and even when you make the pick like they did, we did this before.
We've done this before. We've done, and I can promise you, Caleb Williams and Drake May are maybe they're better prospects than Jameis Winston, but if they are, I promise you, not by much.
Well, here's the deal.
So it's not like it's a guarantee that they're stepping into this league and lighting it up.
The deal is, though, you've got to, and again, this 2 separate tracks. It's either Brady comes back and you try to bring everybody back, and I think that's, as J.C. Allen laid out, I think that's very plausible. And I think it would be the best situation for Brady. But I think he has other things in mind. And I think he probably sees, it would be a good situation. But, for some reason, those guys tuned me out. And I don't think it ended well as far as the chemistry with the team. I think that's one of the things that maybe he's not feeling. But it's either Brady back or total rebuild. If you go get a car, you got to pay him. and you're not using that money to write off cap stuff that you need to write off in the next couple of years to get back to normal, with all the stuff you did for pushing everything down the road for Brady, which is what you should have done.
In all respect, I'm not pushing anything else down the road. I love Derek Carr, but I'm not doing that for Derek Carr.
No, you have to rebuild. Now, if you go look and say, how do you get these great quarterbacks? Let's look at it historically. How did the Eagles get Jalen Hurts? They drafted him in the second round. Joe Burrow, they drafted him. Patrick Mahomes, they drafted him. Josh Allen, they drafted him. Now you also look at the Bucs and say, well, they won 2 Super Bowls with who? Brad Johnson and Tom Brady. Didn't draft him. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 ways to do it, but I think the best way you do it is you try to draft that quarterback. You put him if it comes your way. If not, build a team. And the Bucs need to build a team right now, and that's why I think they should trade any tradable assets and get draft picks and go hit in the draft and try to get these guys.
And it's assuming Brady doesn't come back.
Yeah, correct? Brady doesn't come back. Yeah, in the rebuild, I would not be paying any attention to trying to win the NFC South next year. I would be if Mike Evans is open to it and doesn't want to be part of the rebuild, you trade him and see what you can get for him. You might be able to get a 2 or maybe even a 1. Who knows? People are after game-changing receivers these days, so that might happen. There's in any other. I would keep Tristan Wirfs. I would keep Godwin. I would keep the young core, Antoine Winfield. We talked about this yesterday. So those young guys I would keep. But anybody who's not going to be a core player 3 and 4 years down the road is expendable at this point.
Hey, Jordan asks, what's the trade value of Brock Purdy at this point? Is he a product of a great system in San Fran? Is all in on Lance still? You can bet they are answering the phone for Purdy if he wins the Super Bowl.
How would you trade a
Brock
quarterback?
Purdy if he wins the Super Bowl? I mean, then again, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, and the Eagles that ruined Carson Wentz's career.
Yeah,
them rolling with Nick Foles after and building a statue for him that ruined Carson Wentz's career. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he wins the Super Bowl. That would mean he would be what 9-0 as a quarterback if he does that.
Yeah.
How do you move on? And especially when you're San Francisco and you
he
got a loaded roster.
Think about this. If he wins the Super Bowl, he would have won on the road in Philadelphia against the best defense in football and the best pass rush of the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So if he wins the Super Bowl, that means he's pretty good.
I'm under
and then he's going to have to go beat Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he does that, they're not trading him. They're not trading him.
And I've said before, it's I don't care if maybe he's not as talented as a lot of the other quarterbacks in the league. If you're winning and it works and you have the formula, then why would you move on?
No.
This is I go back to that when people keep saying all this stuff about.
That was the argument with Jimmy G.
And I still feel like if they went to Jimmy G, I would be right. I would be fine with it because you win games with them.
Well, the other thing is if they'd used those 3 first-round picks and still had Jimmy G,
there's a report.
How good would that team be?
Speaking of Sam, there was a report saying, I think it came from Mike Silver. He spoke around the league, and everyone believes that the price for Trey Lance is just a 3rd-round pick. So I saw some Bucs fans talking about that. Would you give up a 3rd-round pick?
Hell yes. That's a flyer.
Yeah. I mean, he's coming off and he can move prior to the ACL injury. So, but those, you can recover pretty good from those.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen much on Trey Lance, to be honest with you. From what I have seen, I'm not overly impressed.
And he still has 2 years left on his deal. The 5th year would be expensive.
Yeah, I would tell you if it was between him or if you brought him in here and it was him and Kyle Trask in the same building and you let them duel it out, I think I have a strong hint of who would win that.
Yeah,
probably. So,
well, if Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl, you know whose stock goes up?
Who?
Stetson Bennett. Small white guy. Played a lot in college, won a lot in college. Got a pretty big arm. Good enough arm.
You know what? Stetson Bennett, if Baker Mayfield could go number 1 off of having a really good college career.
It's not going number 1.
I know that. I'm just saying that just seems so crazy looking back at it that Baker Mayfield rose all the way to 1.
Yeah.
For being a guy who's really small and just put up a lot of numbers at Oklahoma with a great head coach.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see where Bryce Young goes because I think there's going to be a lot of talk about he's another Tua. I think he's better than Tua, but he's still small, and He's not as elusive as.
But he's got it from the neck up, though.
He does.
He's got it.
He's 185 pounds.
I don't know. I just feel
6
like
foot,
I know talent
pounds.
when I see it. And
He
to
was
me,
good.
all the way across the board, he's been the best this, the best this, the best. And that doesn't always translate to the NFL. Look at a lot of the court. Patrick Mahomes went to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Josh Allen went to Wyoming. Who am I missing right now? Burrow, I mean, he had to transfer for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these quarterbacks that end up being the best in the game. Ben Roethlisberger is another one. Matt Ryan was at Boston College. Like a lot of them don't usually. Tom Brady's a good example, obviously. He was 6th on the depth chart at Michigan at one point. A lot of these quarterbacks that go on to have success don't go to big programs nor they're number one. So
a lot of them that have success go to good teams. They're drafted a little bit later.
Yeah, and he seems like he's penciled in for Houston?
I don't know. There's so much intrigue in the draft because what's Chicago going to do? Are they going to trade Justin Fields and take Bryce Young?
Found something with Justin Fields.
I do too. I think
you found something last year.
Yeah, I do too. I think watching him play, and boy, he just has nothing but turds around.
Did someone say
mean,
Dak? Hey, if the Bucs had a chance to get Dak Prescott, sign me the hell up. I don't know about any of y'all, but I would take the guy.
Not at $40 million.
It's not realistic, but
not at $40 million a year.
I think he would get just a little bit back more than a bag of peanuts and a warm beer, Richie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but no, that's not even close.
All right, we'll take our final break. We have one more break, and then we'll come back and wrap things up and look ahead to tomorrow's show.
And I have thoughts on the Hall of Fame. Gotta get to my thoughts on the Hall of Fame.
not on Scott Rowland.
Well, I got to get my thoughts.
You ain't
on
rolling
the Hall
with
of Fame.
Roland.
Not
All
rolling
right,
with
quick
Roland.
break. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, the Gold and Diamond Source in American Mortgage Services, Emerging Investigations. Thanks to all of our sponsors. We'll be back in 3 to wrap this up. Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry super center with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern, geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey guys, it's a new year, so are you looking for a new you to lose weight, lean up? There are many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there, but you know where to start? Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently, and many of these other approaches are designed for the masses, the quick weight loss, but it doesn't stay off, right? Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you, so the weight comes off safely without use of drugs that only work temporarily. So call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. And Chris will join us each Monday at 11:45 to talk about your wellness and the significant injuries to athletes in the sports world. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back as we wrap things up here. We haven't mentioned the curious case of Damar Hamlin and what's going on with him. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there about him showing up with a big Secret Service detail. I don't know anything. I haven't done too much research. I just read a couple articles, but everybody's asking questions about how come there weren't cameras in the box. We couldn't see him. He didn't show up with his mother or his brother. It's like it's a weird deal going on. There's so much going on with his health, so you don't know what it's.
Yeah, I'm not speculating on Damar Hamlin. That's sure.
But that's out there. That's weird. If you guys if you want to talk about that, put it up in the comments. And also, what else was I going to get to? Saw this on my feed here. Anyway, let's get to the Hall of Fame here. Scott Rowland elected. I just can't, Fred McGriff could not get elected by the baseball writers, but Scott Rowland is going into the Hall of Fame. Now, McGriff's going up in this year because the Veterans Committee finally did the right thing and got him in. But Scott Rowland, the curious case of Scott Rowland. What do you got?
For why he should be in the Hall of Fame?
Or why he shouldn't.
Okay. I'm big on, did I ever show up to the ballpark to see you play? I don't know about you, but I don't ever recall saying, man, I can't wait to see Scott Rowland play today. And I'm sorry, I like Hall of Fames. I like the elite of the elite. I like great. I like MVPs. You know what I'm also big on? I'm big on when I look at your player card that I see some black type on it. And I don't know if you can see my screen right here. Do you see any bold black
I don't
type
see any bold, no.
on that screen right there?
I see no bold.
17 years. Scott Rowland led the league in 0 categories his entire career. Does that sound like Hall of Fame to you?
No.
No.
What were his credentials? 7-time All-Star.
Okay, he was let me get it right here. He was a 7-time All-Star, an 8-time Gold Glove. I'm not taking that away from him. He was one of the best defensive third basemen in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He had 1 Silver Slugger. He's got a few seasons here with over, 5 seasons with over 100 RBIs. But just look at the numbers, though. Okay? He barely got to 2,000 hits, 316 home runs, lifetime 281 batting average. Does that sound like a Hall of Famer to you? With no black type, no MVPs, none of that to it. And I had a nice comparison here. And by the way, the player that I'm comparing him to hasn't even finished his career. Who knows what it'll look like then? But as of right now, Scott Rowland has 300 more career at-bats than somebody everybody knows pretty well around here in Evan Longoria.
Okay.
Now, do you think of Evan Longoria as a Hall of Famer?
No.
I don't.
No.
I don't. Hall of Very Good, correct?
Hall of Very Good.
Let's compare the numbers, shall we?
Sure.
Between Scott Rowland and Evan Longoria. And again, Scott Rowland has 300 more at-bats plus to go off of on Evan Longoria.
Career-wise.
Wow. Evan
okay.
Longoria.
So pretty close.
Evan Longoria is only 200 hits behind, right?
Right.
And doubles, he's about 80 behind. In home runs, he has more home runs than Scott Rowland. He's got about 160 RBIs less than Scott Rowland. Batting average is 281 to 265, OPS 855 to 306, and OPS plus, Scott Rowland is 122, and Evan Longoria is 120. And everybody tells me that the OPS plus is like the most important thing. It's 122 to 120. Mind you, Longoria still has some years to go, right? And if you're one of those,
they're not going to be great years.
No, but I'm just saying, if you want to go by WAR, Scott Rowland's WAR is 70.1, and Longoria's is 58. My point there is, there's not that big of a difference from Scott Rowland to Evan Longoria.
No.
If we're really going to break it down. There's really not. And does anybody think of Evan Longoria as a Hall of Famer?
No.
Scott Rowland started on the ballot with what, 10%, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
10%. And he gets all the way to 75% somehow, right?
Yeah.
This comes off, and again, I'm not trying to diminish Scott Rowland's career. I see Mark P says that he's absolutely a Hall of Famer. That's fair. I'm not diminishing his career. But Hall of Fame to me is for the elite of the elite.
You didn't read the whole thing from Mark P.
Oh, I gotcha. There you go. Scott Rowland's mom. Anyway, that's a good one. You're right. I didn't read the whole thing. That's funny. But no, I like Hall of Fames. I like it to be hard to get into. And this came off as, okay, we only have one candidate that's going in, and it's from the Veterans Committee and Fred McGriff. We've got to vote somebody in. That's what it came off of. We can't have nobody go in. And the same goes for Todd Helton. Todd Helton missed it by like a few votes.
I'd say Todd Helton more than Scott Rowland.
I don't think, but here's the thing. I don't think either of them should get in.
Yeah.
Todd Helton?
Nah.
I know you look at his numbers and you might go, oh, wow, he actually had a really good.
Yeah.
Okay, really good is not Hall of Fame.
The Coors Field thing is.
Like, look at all the other first basemen they're not in when you're comparing them. John Olerud's not in. I think he's got a career that's just as good as Todd Helton.
Better.
Didn't last on the ballot. Keith Hernandez at least won an MVP.
Yeah.
He's got more hits than Todd Helton, I believe. He didn't last on the ballot long. Don Mattingly didn't last on the ballot long.
Weird.
So we want to just put everybody in. We just want to put everybody in.
Makes no sense.
This was, to me, a stain on the Hall of Fame yesterday. That's how far I'll take it. This was a stain on the Hall of Fame. And if you were going to put somebody in the Hall of Fame on this ballot, because I know it was weaker, may I recommend Tampa native Gary Sheffield?
Yes.
Who at least hit 500 home runs. Last time I checked, I was always told as a kid 500 home runs.
Lock.
500 home runs,
Lock.
3,000 hits, 300 wins as starting pitcher.
Lock.
You're in. Why can't Gary Sheffield get in? What, because he played during the PED era, so we're just going to lump him in with all those guys, even though he was never proved to have done anything?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing.
No.
I don't think it's right.
No, we should have 2 Tampa natives going into the Hall of Fame together. End of story.
Those 2 should have been going in. I agree.
Staying on the Hall of Fame yesterday.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. By the way, John Gerber cannot be with us today because he's at the PGA Merchandise Show, which I am going to. Nick may be joining us, so we'll have some interesting stuff to put up on our social media. We'll talk about it tomorrow. It's a candy store for you golfers. So much fun. Here's his picks for this week. Tony Finau at 12-1. This is to win. Taylor Montgomery at 30-1. I can't read this other one. Maverick at 33-1. Ham Sandwich, Ryan Palmer, 100-1. Your top 10s, Jason Day at plus 220 and Thigala at plus 425. Top 20s, Alex Smalley and Hayden Buckley. So we'll put this up. He'll put a graphic up on his Twitter. I'll retweet it for you. So we won 100 units last week, so I think he's really due this week. Trust me on this. He's been really good. So those are your picks, and I'll retweet them for you, but wanted to get that in. All right. Thanks, you guys, for commenting today. I got to put this up real quick because he's a new one. Tampa FLG 813. Glad to see the channel gaining momentum. Best sports talk show in Tampa Bay, hands down. My guy, Nick, very underrated rising star. I agree with that. 100%. Best thing you said today. Thanks, Mrs. Geddes. Appreciate that. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity and maybe more on Tom Brady. So I guarantee you we'll have more on Tom Brady. We'll see you then.